I've got Twitch in the background of this window, so I can kind of see it.
You can actually monitor it.
Hello, all.
Oh, hi.
I think we're back.
We're
Hey, sorry about that. We're just having fun technical issues tonight. The streaming machine just went down, and I thought it was out, but it's not.
wrong people in the windows, though. Apparently, Sean, your name is Andrew Gillis.
Oh,
We've all been
I am Sean Nittner. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean Nittner.
hello. I can address this in a manner of speaking. There.
Andy is the only one who remains Andy.
I am true to me.
There we go. Now we're just in positions that are
very nice.
Now we're just in.
What's it feel like to be on the left or right or wherever I am? Let me just get this.
You're now on the bottom.
You're on the bottom, so you can do a little
reach
point
up into Strosh.
Oh, actually, hang on. I'll reach down and shake your hand here.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay, good times. Sorry, all. Fun times. This. So
we'll just do it all of our technological undertakings and woes will happen now, and then we'll be free and clear of them.
Yeah.
Hereforth.
We're going to want to be wrapping up soon, but do we want to just get through maybe like obligation?
Yeah,
I think we can totally do obligation.
Sounds lovely.
I'll just kind of pick up a couple seconds before we presumably got dropped. This is like a ideal lead-in for Reina's obligation, which is all around like being a media icon, ill-fitting though that role might be. And so, yeah, you were getting asked these like questions that prod at your pride. Like the reporters are trying to get a reaction out of you.
I think I'll give them a reaction, but it'll be sort of kind of on script. I think like there's probably like a moment where, you know, I'm like, oh, it's important to note that we are all a team, and it's you know, not a single person. Who am I kidding? But like the you know, I'll actually like stand up and I'll be like, the question that you should be asking is, how does it feel like to mentor a rookie to become the greatest rookie that ever lived?
Right, you spin it back, so it's like, yeah, well, it's I taught her a few things. Yeah, okay, great. But yeah, do you want to go ahead and roll your?
Absolutely. Remind me what that is.
So yeah, obligation is going to be your worst resistance, because society is putting all this pressure on you, and presumably your worst resistance is where you cave.
I need to put some dice in Kudera someday.
Right. So this is the social pressure aspect. So there's like maybe a little bit of brittleness to this. Right. Yeah. You take 4 stress.
Yep. So good.
And so, yeah, there are like all of these questions that are trying to like needle you, and you just have to like keep it's like all this extra work of like managing this weird situation. And maybe also you're plagued by all this weird tension with Prophet. I could see that justifying this like 4 stress start to the next arc.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no question. Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of me being like super forced with trying to be jovial to probably at some point, like some reporter tries to ask me yet another needling question. I just like at some point I'm like pumping myself up, and then I start laughing, and I tell them not to interrupt me while I'm laughing, and I keep laughing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think just like we have in real life, at some point they're asking us. They ask some like open question, and Prophet is one of her talents as the leader is that she's good at like answering questions the way that are expected. She has one in flow, and she knows how to like she knows what's expected of them. And so
you're able to like model good behavior.
Yeah, I think a question goes out, and both Reina and Prophet start answering at the same time. And then there's this like horribly uncomfortable pause as we're both like looking at each other.
They're daggers, practical lightning between our eyes.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And Prophet would normally like keep going and like figure it out. But instead she like falters, and like there's this awful awkward silence. And then Reina takes it over and like continues answering. So I'm feeding into where I expect my stress to come from as well.
I think if you don't mind me throwing stuff at you for this phase, because I have some ideas about
Yeah,
This
please
play
do.
out. As you leave the press briefing, you get caught in this awkward little spot. Like there's like a corridor where they trap you in this, and it's God, what's her name? Astera
Mm-hmm.
is there.
Yeah, Astera, my
Your
on-screen
like
girlfriend.
stage girlfriend. Yeah, and there's like a camera crew, kind of like they're not fully hidden, but they're like kind of out of the way in this room or like corridor or whatever, and they have like staged this scene between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
And Abbott and Reyna are like awkwardly like waiting as it's happening. And there's all of this grossness around the whole.
Wow.
It just highlights that the horrible love triangle.
Yeah, right. Well, because there's definitely a moment where I kiss Astera for the cameras, and
Yep.
I'm looking at Abbott
Of course.
when I do this,
Yep.
and the look is hard to read. Like, is it pleading? Is it apologetic? It's thousand-yard stare. It's distant. It's this like, yep.
Yeah, or is it like totally dispassionate and closed off? And like, how many ways can we read this that are terrible?
Right.
Abbott, of course, stares back at like matches your expression.
Yeah.
That's so awful.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So I think usually Reyna has some sympathy, but I think this time she's just totally still glaring daggers like, you deserve this. You deserve suffering. You're a bad person.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that you aren't into it. No one quite knows why, in terms of like the crew.
Yeah.
And no one knows. This is like a question as much as anything to y'all, and that no one knows that Astera tried to get Abbott killed, except
Right.
Abbott. Right.
Right.
Okay. I just want to confirm, as I'm setting this up, that no one like spills the beans that they shouldn't be able to, or whatever.
Right. But what we do know is that Abbott and Prophet used to be in a relationship. That was public.
Yeah.
But they were not allowed to after Abbott became a pilot. That is not necessarily why they broke up, but
I think their relationship was always forbidden, but it became
Yes.
much more difficult to keep it secret and forbidden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So right. I think I do like the thing where I give her the kiss, and then we kind of like smile and pose for the camera, and there's like a moment where the cameras are flashing, and Prophet totally like zones out because of like the lights and whatnot, as she's like, as for a moment she sees another future, and she like literally like recoils out of Astera's arms for a moment and like flings her away, like lurches back like she's seen some like super horrible future, and she looks back and sees that Abbott's still there, and goes and like calms back down and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and like goes back to like posing. It's totally catches that on film. Of her like,
is this like alternate timeline interference that there's
this
like
is alternate timeline where Abbott's dead.
There's a timeline where Abbott is gone, and so yeah, she's not standing there for a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to.
And Astera is a pilot.
It's
you don't know.
It's just
Great.
I'm just telling you what's going on in Prophet's head and why
Love
she
it.
out for a second.
Astera expertly plays it off as if you are like stumbling because you're injured, and like catches you, and like, soothes your hair, and does this like performance of tenderness and care for you, and it's awful. It's the worst thing.
Yep.
Why don't you go ahead and roll your worst for me?
That's good. I'll roll my brash, because I'm not able to like pull off that kind of bravado myself.
Yeah, it's the fear of losing Abbott that ultimately that's killing you.
Yep. I was gonna say, wait, that person's brash is really good. That's because it's Reyna's.
This doesn't seem like my character. Numbers are in the wrong places.
Oh yay, 5 stress.
Again?
Woof.
Right? This is the second time in a row? Excellent.
That's the second time.
High five!
Living up to troubled captain.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And forbidden love. It's all
Yeah.
it's all just looped right into it.
And what are the details for Abbott's obligation again? I remember it relates to like Bantam and people having like pressures that they put on you in terms of like your job as a mechanic.
Yeah, what we're looking at by and large is that if you dig deep enough, it's the part where nobody understands Abbott's relationship with the engines, really is what it's about. But it's the part
Okay.
where, as she's a mechanic, which is, say, a doctor and like a therapist, and cares very deeply about the engines, and everyone doesn't really understand what she does. She doesn't necessarily do mechanic things. And now we have this part where her job is being, she's also as a civilian, doesn't do anything you're supposed to do as a military, as
Yeah, she like
military
doesn't
personnel.
fit into the military culture.
Yeah, and then add on to that this recent success with beating up our Urcat friend, and that new, like, the energy there, and so like being a new target, it is continues to be bad at these things, but now people think that she's good at them. Maybe, I don't know. So, is a mechanic, is not a mechanic.
Yeah, I think I like using Bantam as the like blunt instrument whereby all of these forces kind of come into your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, Bantam like finds you. You've managed to like you find a moment of peace. You like get away from all the cameras and the hullabaloo.
Yeah.
And Bantam does that shitty like arm on the wall thing, but just like where we have like a shot that's you just being like, and then just boom, this like hand into the bulkhead right next to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think one like particularly awful thing about Bantam could be that she absolutely knows that she can't touch you, or that she shouldn't touch you. We had this established scene earlier that like you don't touch Abbott unconsensually, so she's just like a hair's distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Gets in close,
away. So it's not touching you, but it's like
the
it's
letter of the law, but not the spirit. Yeah, yeah, and she's like this big, rangy, like very classically military person with like her nose has clearly been broken. It's like a little bit crooked. She looks really tough and like weathered. And she's in her flight suit. She's holding her helmet in like same hand that's on her hip, and she just like leans in over you, and starts doing this like bro talky thing about piloting stuff because her team is going up next, and there's like she's trying to do the like camaraderie thing, and in a way that is like patently false as well, like get on your good side and like bro out with you about this stuff. And just like traps you there because like you're like cornered and she's taking up all this space and it's just like talking at you. Like being gross. Now that you're like the hot shot, like rookie of the year, she's suddenly trying to like suck up to you in this really shitty way.
Yeah, like suck up and like use and like social
show that you've always been buds
and like steal your status and turn it into her status.
Right.
Yeah. She's doing that at you.
Great.
In this like random dark hallway where you're alone. And, like just as you get out of sight from everyone else.
Okay.
And like maybe Reyna would know all of the appropriate like weird like locker room like strategies to like navigating this conversation, but for you,
yeah, Abbott's reaction is just this very like blank. It like throughout the press conference, like all that, it's a continuation of this behavior of like blank and like closed, like don't know what they're talking about, don't care, don't trust them, and it's all completely like incomprehensible. So like the broing out, like it is super gross, and so there's like even more hooded, right? And like that, like
the body just like close off, and we get the muffled talking, like we can't hear the words she's saying,
right?
It's like as if through water. Just like talking. I think we get like the last couple words as she like finally relents, and she just says, "We'll need you working on our engines when we come back from this patrol. See you in a couple hours." And she like walks off down the hall, and you know that she is like cruel to her equipment, and their engines always come back from her squad like super beat up, and you know, it's that whole thing. She's everything you could possibly hate, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So go ahead and roll.
Yeah, let's see what that looks like. All right, good old stranger with some kudere.
Yeah, you just shut it all out because you don't feel things.
Yep.
That's nice.
Isn't it great?
Isn't it nice not to feel?
Yeah, it's super
Sometimes.
good. All right. And I just need to hit the good old die that's next to Kudere, right? Even though it's
Yeah.
asking me about position, which we are
Yeah.
not concerned
Some
about.
of those things can just be.
Great. That did get under Abbott's skin somewhat.
It's annoying, but it's not world-endingly bad.
The part that bothered Abbott the most was that parting shot.
Yeah, that was like the little turning of the screw.
Yeah, that's the thing where you see Abbott's like sort of diffident and distant, like flat face break into like some like genuine concern.
There's like a frown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great. That's as good a place as any to wrap up.
Yeah.
Brownie faces.
We'll go into downtime next time, and we'll see in what ways the Bastion helps out. Maybe we'll get this observatory built for the flagship. Maybe we'll fix some engines, fix some broken people.
We definitely have some busted peoples.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some other like free play stuff that I would love to do. There are a couple other things I want to see. So we'll get into those next session.
Awesome. Let's do
Love
some
it.
XP.
Yeah.
Yes. Shall we start with our stranger since you were last on camera?
Sure.
All right. So did you address a challenge with knowledge or subtlety?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that came up a bunch in your methods of approach.
Yep.
Well, as you posited, Sean, about the idea of like, here, we found the scientific method. Keep trying.
Yeah, this didn't work. Let's try this other thing.
Right.
So
Right. I mean, I would argue that you did both. You could certainly take 2 XP just for knowledge, but certainly the the tricking it and waiting on the timing and all that stuff, I think also very much applies to subtlety as well. So I'm a big advocate for 2 XPs in that category.
You want to do it? Mm-hmm.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, role, or background? Your role being civilian, your background being a lot of that detail we established.
Mm-hmm. I feel like those things came up both. We saw some really in how Abbott engaged with the Urcat and this sort of deep discomfort around like even knowing how to interface with them other than as peers was right, which we saw last time.
Disconnect in how you were like, okay, cool, we're gonna like de-escalate this situation, and everyone else is like, no, punch them.
Yeah. So I think we saw like that, and also the terrible choice to permit the magician to be wounded.
Yep.
And then also again this Sean, the setup in this corridor with staring at that we see this.
I do not get what's happening.
More sad technology.
Okay, this time at least I know what it is.
No. I think we're okay. I'm still seeing the episode.
Yeah, but we're not getting any
like an 8-second delay or something. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the stream, but it's very funny.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, sound is coming through now.
Oh.
Yep. Okay, and we're back again.
In a new and different, but again, version.
Yes. Okay.
Where were we in Ipsos's XP here, Andy?
Oh, golly, we were talking about expressing beliefs, drives, role, and background. And I feel like we are still really unpacking all of our characters, and we saw a lot of both Abbott and Ipsos, both in like highlighting this awkward love triangle, and sort of Abbott again choosing to sort of be flat about a lot of these things, or at least externally non-reactive, and in contrast to being more concerned about the engines is like the place where you see Abbott expressing concern.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like in this case, it's just like everyone is a really good role player, and you're doing a really good job like reincorporating all the details that we've established. So like everyone's gonna get lots of XP. So yeah, like again, too. Yes, you're doing great.
Yeah.
So next category: did you struggle with issues from your promises or obligation? And maybe remind us what your promises are.
So I have a promise to change my relationship with Tor, and then I also have a promise to share my wisdom with Reyna. And I feel like we saw like pieces of some of this, but maybe not as explicitly as it could have been. In that, like thinking about like we saw a lot of that relationship with Tor come to the forward in a number of places about collaborating and trying to be in those places again.
Yeah, we like saw both sides of it, where there was like moments where you two clicked, and then moments where you two were like infinitely far away from each other.
Well, and the thing was the analytical moments, the cerebral moments were always where we were totally in sync, and the emotional moments where we were like super distant.
Yeah, I love this character to the relationship.
So I think you should definitely take one for that, because all that Tor wants is an emotional connection with Abbott, and all that she can get is an intellectual one, right? And she came to you at the beginning of the last episode to try and seek that out, because something is better than nothing, because she's willing to hurt herself in order to try and chase a dream. But
healthy.
But it's super unhealthy. But I think it's great to keep seeing that like where it matters, at least to Tor, we're still super far apart. But yeah, I think that's absolutely.
I love it. It's superb.
Great. Yeah. And then there was some sharing of wisdom in terms of like when it was time to fight the thing, you were like, fight the thing this way. This is me like imparting knowledge to you. And that Reyna actually like got involved and followed through on the stuff that you were suggesting.
Which was pretty exciting. And even when the pushback was like something useful, no, that is useful. As like a refutation of that like cheerful snipe almost, right? Like totally on brand for Reyna in my take. I don't know how you feel about that, Strash. Like that felt exactly like totally on like point and on tone for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I feel really good about that too. And I have this imagining where like people are taking digs during these the press conferences at Reyna and Abbott, just like in amid the like if you're paying real close attention to Abbott, like you just see frown, like it's just one more tick more to frown.
Yeah, just getting increasingly grouchy with the way that things are going down.
Yeah. So
cool.
So that's my story.
Did you embody your eclipse or display the contents of your heart?
I need help understanding some of that when it comes to like displaying the contents of your hearts, because it didn't necessarily embody eclipse, though definitely was sort of analytical and on about problem solving versus engaging with people, but that happened a lot even so. And so displaying the contents of your heart, I don't know that Abbott had a lot of opportunities.
Abbott is also not necessarily the person that does a lot of
overt
heart content displays, but I don't think that it says overtly display it. I meant does everyone in the audience maybe have a moment where they see something that you truly and genuinely feel that was communicated real strongly? Is that a thing that we all want to say that means?
Yeah, exactly. Like this can happen at the level of us as players understanding the contents of
Yeah.
the character's heart. It doesn't have to be that like you
Soliloquy.
shared it with one of the other characters or did a soliloquy or whatever, but that we as an audience get to experience that.
Right.
The inner
Okay.
world of your character
Okay.
Yeah.
is what matters.
I will say that to me, I pick up one thing that comes across very strongly to me, Andy, is that Abbott is a person who's profoundly aware of how different she is from everybody and knows that people don't get her and doesn't try to educate them in that regard. Like she knows when people like who's your
Phantom.
Bantham, she's never gonna like try and like explain to Bantham like why she's so wrong. It's something that she's sort of, and in one way I think that's you could see it as a very positive light, is like she's very philosophical about it, like she's not emotionally attached to it, and in the other way I can see seems like very fatalistic, like not even like
sure.
Up. And I feel like that plays off in both ways. Like there's some ways in which you've kind of risen above it, and then there's other ways in which I think you've sort of trapped by.
Yeah, you've been like resigned to isolation. Like I feel like that bit of description where you're like, she gets out of the hanged man, no one attends to her.
Yeah,
she just does it on her own and is unnoticed by everyone. To me, that kind of stuff is about like things that are true about Abbott's. That's like about Abbott's heart, to my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Okay.
Like
great. That helps me understand what I'm.
Yeah, this one is just like be a human with feelings and show a character that is a human with feelings, instead of the game rewarding you for like doing cool action poses. It's like make us all feel
cool. So
like,
all the stuff that we like to do, great. That didn't get captured by the other things that we like to do.
Stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Got it. So, thank you.
So I would say like at least one there for
and then the other one is your eclipse. The eclipse majors, no more wasting times with friends or feelings. They've held you back for too long. It's time to focus on something real and tangible, something that makes sense. You find a concrete, rational, and entirely impossible. You find a concrete. Okay, so just reading off of that, it's like, should I know you've already gotten XP for it, but I feel like that the moment of deciding, like, should I let this thing rip into magician and also therefore profit?
I feel like a lot of your play does reflect the eclipse prompt in terms of its themes of detachment, of craving concrete thing, like tactile things. Like even in the first episode where there was the bit where you could only relate to profit by talking about like material things and couldn't have like an emotional conversation.
Right.
Is like a reflection of that in my like looking back. I'm like, yeah, okay. So yeah, you don't have to be an eclipse to play this notion that is like the dark side of your.
Oh, great! Apparently, I'm doing that a lot.
Yeah, I think you're leaning into it really hard now. Like as we have continued play, I've seen that like crystallize as being something that you're emphasizing with the character.
Great! I learned more things about what I'm doing and what they matter.
Nice. And I mean, I guess that's the fun of these like report card style XP.
I love it.
Is that you look back and you're like, yeah, I did do that. It's like you can contextualize your own action.
I love that process and that it's collaborative. A great deal.
My friend Raina.
Oh,
list.
Yeah, let's do it. Did I address a challenge with kindness or self-sacrifice?
Well, definitely the latter.
Self-sacrifice came in.
It came in a lot. Do you address challenge with kindness?
There is kindness.
I think
thing was that crit you rolled where you were like you were gentle and like supportive of your giant robot, which you had you could have just been like, fucking do it, giant robot, but you were like, hey buddy, come on, this is really important to me and it would matter to me a lot if you could save all of these people. I'm a people, they're a people, you know.
Like,
that was a great moment, and it was like 3.5 hours ago, but
it was there.
I got your back, Strash.
Yeah.
Thank
I agree.
you. I had forgotten, but I think that in as the series goes, we will. I'm not sure how much we will see Reina addressing challenges with kindness,
Yeah.
unless it's towards her friends.
I was gonna say, what about when you were helping Tor out of pit of despair, right?
Yeah,
And like
like-
that.
Yeah, well, that was certainly sacrifice as well. And I think it's worth pointing out that when you think about hot-headed people, a lot of times our depictions of them as well is in an angry state, like rash anger. But like people who wear their emotions on their sleeves also tend to swing very strong in the other direction as well, of like so much love, right? You know, and I feel like we've seen some of that with Raina.
Yes,
And I think there's like, yeah,
and there's
you
like
just make it so hard, Prophet.
there's like I'm angry because my friends are being hurt is
Yeah.
one of the big
Yeah.
reasons why Reina actually gets angry, or like
Yep.
Yeah.
those kinds of like defensive inclinations, which I think is really nice. So
Hmm.
did you express your drives, beliefs, role, or background?
Oh, so much.
yeah.
I think this, like, everything I do is about my drives and my beliefs.
And then yeah, tying things to Zyra, your friend who is dead, is about like your background, and yeah, we even got to see some of like the stuff that you believe in and the stuff that you believe is important, with like, no, we got to save the people. The people are what matters fundamentally. You weren't like, you have to make me look good, engine. No, it was like, no, we're gonna go save the people. So
Yeah.
It's notable that when I was like, oh yeah, looking good, crit fail.
well, yeah, like there are both sides to the character.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Struggled with issues from your promises or obligation.
So notably, I mean, I did my obligation, right? But like, I'm gonna tell everyone again what my promises are, because they're super actually relevant to a bunch of my actions, even though I didn't realize that they were until after I went back to read my sheet. So
Love it.
My two promises are, if anyone will sacrifice themselves on this crew, it will be me, and definitely not Prophet.
So like, yes, absolutely that one.
And then the other one is, I will keep Prophet from breaking Abbott's heart. And I will make the clear argument that one of the reasons that I threw myself into the path of death was not just to save Prophet from Prophet's own idiotic timeline ideas and prophecies, but
to not have them die, not have her die in front of Abbott.
Yes,
basically.
actually, very much so.
Yeah, that's good. That's loaded.
So in.
I'm not allowed to scream it on camera, but I protect my friends in various ways, and that is one of them.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that if we look at that scene in the hangar too, with a little bit of that context, like,
yes,
why is she so mad? And it's not just about, because it's never about what it's about on the surface. It's always these other things, and generally anger gets motivated by fear a lot, or those kinds of other negative feelings. So yeah.
Well, there's a line. So I love this web. It's not web. It's an actual comic called The Wicked and the Divine. And there's this line that Sekhmet says in it. Somebody's needling her and trying to figure out. They're like, "Oh, you feel things." She's like, "No, I don't." And then somebody asks, "What's the worst thing they can do to her?" And it's like, "Oh, well, if you do this, it'll make me angry." And they go, "Like, anger's an emotion." Goes, "No, anger is the absence of emotion." And I think that's definitely like a form of Reina's shield. Like, she was angry, but she was crying, right? Like, she was trying to not feel sad.
Yeah, use the anger to push away the other feelings, or do something about the way you're
right. Express them in a way that she felt like she had control over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Did you embody your eclipse or display the contents of your heart?
I would like to believe that I displayed a lot of the contents of my heart.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, wearing your heart on your sleeve is a fast track to some XP in this game.
Yeah. Your eclipse is all the people you have sworn to protect are unworthy of that protection. You belong at the front, leading the fight. Where the foe exists, you seek them out and confront them directly right now. I don't know what was going on in your head, but I can
not that is my but
what was it?
Sorry, I cut Sean off.
No, it's fine.
I feel like emphatically not your eclipse. Like you were never like, yeah, fuck my friends. I'm gonna go, like, I need to go take care of this myself. You're always like, everything is about my friends.
It's real good.
You're being very like pure, which is
that said, I think you still get 2 XP in this category because of displaying the contents of your heart so much.
Cool. So I do this terrible thing where I really get into it. I'm talking about the game a lot, and I forgot to count. How many XPs is that?
All of them.
8.
Okay.
You get all the
All right.
XP.
I think it's
I
all.
think
Sweet.
I have a feeling everyone's going to do this because you're all just such great role players, and
We like feelings,
Well,
especially sad ones.
the triggers that you give us are not are the things that we want to be doing. So
yeah, it's like just
some-
really in line with this table in particular.
yeah, so sometimes you do those things to teach people how to play their characters, and you want to remind people like, oh, when you beat stuff up, as the cutter, you get XP. So
Yeah.
feel free to do it. But I think we're so invested in them that,
We're going to call this a win for game design.
yeah, exactly.
All right. So did you address a challenge with foresight or revelation? And keeping in mind, foresight within the fiction, not
Yes.
Sean actually being like, I have used my incredible mind to see the future of this game and know what's going to happen, because you can't do that. It's not possible.
Right. Yes. So I feel like there were many times when, not only doing sort of time magic-y tricks, but also I did my darndest to answer virtually every question in the form of within the parameters of the multiverse and all the possible timelines that there could be. I'm choosing the one that I think is the wisest, and like trying to show that Prophet isn't making decisions in the now, she's making decisions in the future. Like these are things like I'm doing what I'm doing now because I think that's what's going to be the best.
And it's not even like fully a decision, it's kind of a selection.
Yeah.
It's like she has this big menu of things and she's like, we'll pick this series of events and then this series of events.
Right. And it can make her sometimes impossibly cold, and sometimes make the wrong decision. The magician, she thought she had the power and she didn't. So now she has doubt and dread that maybe she's misunderstood the world.
I like how you're leaning into the like fatalism and the burden of knowledge. That's kind of implied by a lot of the stuff in the books.
I'm trying to play Cassandra's Tears Up.
It's great. So you get 2 XP for that.
Cool.
Of course. Did you express your beliefs, drives, role, or background?
So my role and background are Troubled Captain and Forbidden Lover. I struggled a lot with definitely struggled a lot with Troubled Captain the whole time. Forbidden Love was I want to say that, like, even though I wasn't helping Abbott I wasn't spending a stress to help Abbott in the attack, like I knew full well that she was watching, and I was like, you're watching me get hurt so that you can succeed, and I'm okay with that. Like that's something I'll just take and compliment you on, even for being smart about it. And it was breaking magician, but also breaking my heart a little too. So I think
maybe we can call 2 for that. There was a bunch of stuff about your background as the like person from the bygone era.
Sure. Well, and the whole fight with Reyna at the end. I mean, that was a big deal for Reyna, but it was also a big deal for Tora. Like it was like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you save somebody? How could you have made the choice not to do this in the past? So
and that highlights what your character believes to be right. Your like character's morality around who gets to live and die, because you have this knowledge and you're making these choices for other people.
Yeah. It's pretty arrogant.
Did you struggle with issues from your promises or obligation?
There was a hold on. Was the last one including drive? Was that
beliefs, drives, role, or background?
Okay, cool. So I've already capped out the XP on it, but I want to add one more thing, which is that you made the observation, Andrew, which is that Prophet wants to destroy the Leviathans, and although she's normally like very like calm and whatnot, when I got into like fighting time, it was
like, no, let's dismantle this thing.
Yeah. There's a quiet fire in her that isn't like Reyna that's visible, but
I was surprised at how ruthless you were. You were like, I grind its face into this like rotating. It
was real good.
Whoa, okay, easy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just that was that was an important part of like some of her coming out.
Mhm.
Okay. Did I struggle with my promises or my
Obligation.
obligation?
And this is just to reframe again, like this is obligation outside of just rolling it. Just rolling it isn't enough, but this is if it like bleeds into other stuff and you make a point
Absolutely.
of bringing it up and expressing it.
I will always love Ipsos, and I will help Raina be the best pilot she can be. And I got in a big fight with Raina because I helped her be. It was last session, but this was the session where we got into the fight about why I helped her and not others.
Yeah.
And also, it's a really tragic thing for Tor to help Reyna because she knows she's helping her right into the thing that she doesn't want her to become.
Feeding her into this martyr kind of
Yeah,
this fate of martyrdom.
Yes, and like like an infinity of martyrdom that will just be the worst. And I mean, my obligation detail is pursuing forbidden love, and that also ties into my promise. I know it was right at the end, but the thing that I was angling for, or the thing that was important to me, was the moment where I thought Abbott wasn't there for a second, and it like wrecked.
Yeah, that was
wrecked me for just a
such
moment.
a great detail.
Of and a lot of that came because you asked about like, oh, does Astera know? Or does anyone know that Astera tried to kill her? And that was like such a great trigger. So thank you as well, because I was like, oh my god, that's a perfect. Horrible.
Yeah, even with just the like 6 NPCs that y'all gave me as like your friends and enemies, there's a great little microcosm to play around.
Yeah.
Great. Did you embody your eclipse or display the contents of your heart?
My eclipse is you've known all along. You've known all along that changing fate was impossible, but here you are, all this wasted effort, wasted time. If this fate is inevitable, why not embrace it? You set aside your caution and instinct and pursue a simple and direct course of action, heedless of consequence. I don't know that I did that. I definitely think the first part of it, the whole fatalist part of it, it did come out, but I don't think I took direct action based off of that. In part because like that was sort of my thing, and then we shifted camera focus, but also just in part because I didn't have like a response to that.
Prophet is still clinging to the idea that that like it is good that things are like to like still want to work within the future and past vision thing
Frame.
instead of just being like, fuck it, I'm just going to do whatever I can like now.
Right.
Set aside all that stuff. Even though she's fatalistic about it, she still thinks that it is the right thing to do.
It's to try and like
resign to fate.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think I did that. I do, however, did like broadcast my fears to everyone, like literally mirrored my fears to everyone and said like, this is what these are what I'm afraid of. And these are the things that I care about. And of course, one of those was seeing Reyna not having been saved. And then the worst sort of case scenario. So
yeah, I feel like all of you have done a really good job this session of like pointing the fiction inward instead of being like, I do a cool thing, or like focusing on like the play-by-play action, like plot point stuff. It's been all about like a character drama.
Yeah.
If I can just say one thing real quick, there is oftentimes this mistaken illusion that when the action begins, the story ends, right? Like, so like in a bad movie, the fight scene is about the fight scene. It's about the backflips and the punching, whatever. But in a well scripted film or series or whatever, there is a lot of character development and plot revelation and reflection of the inner world in in a fight scene.
The action is an expression of the character, not just a thing the character is doing alongside to being a person with feelings. And yeah, exactly. Y'all are tying all that stuff together really nicely.
Yeah.
It makes my job really easy.
So I feel like this is definitely like I don't want to just toot our horn and be like, well, because we're good role players. I just feel like naturally wanting to know more about the world, about the engines, and about each other. All of us are displaying this and playing into it and saying yes a lot to each other because I think that it makes the game world richer. It makes our game better, and it's really something fun that I want to see. So
there's like the alternate timeline for this game where y'all don't play that way, and it's more perfunctory, and there's like a side of like the mission is about doing stuff, and then the downtime is about having feelings. Yeah, and there could be that separation if you wanted to play it out that way. But
Sure.
Toot yon horn, for you are a fine role-playing troupe.
We're all real fortunate that we put a lot of work into taking real good care of each other, right? And like we can trust those yeses because we also honor each other's no's. Right? That's part of that process of being here and together. Which is to say that I'm real glad to be here. So y'all are great.
Me as well.
It's nice to celebrate that.
When we do something that might be very well seen as like detrimental or something somebody else might not like, and they say yes, it is so fun and encouraging and great to like know that like we're syncing and we're
all right, lastly, we're doing crew XP. Did we successfully carry out a mission from the crew's list?
We did it.
Yes. Did we struggle with our place in the world and protect the last bastion?
We did it.
Double yes. Did we reveal the tragic history of the Bastion, Leviathans, and engines?
We revealed a tiny bit about the Leviathans. Strash,
I was gonna say I got to see the ghost of my best friend who I may have had very strong feelings for.
Yep. Yeah, I think
if that's not the history of my mech, I don't know what is. Plus, I talked to it and gave it control, and we'll see more of that next time for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're building this theme of like, why is the chariot haunted by ghosts?
Right.
And what that might mean. And I'm starting to form some ideas about that. So whether or not it's like this is like an under the hood thing, but for me, I'm like, yes, I'm stroking my MC goatee, being like, yes, evil thoughts. So cool. And then did we express the essential nature, origin, or destiny of the crew?
Yeah, I think that was the
yes
96% of the game, and the other 4% was when we were having technical glitches.
Yeah, great. So that's 1 crew advance and then 4 XP. Still
cool. Love it.
Filled in for y'all.
Thank you.
Marks.
Real quick, what do crew advances give us the option to purchase?
So additional crew abilities. So crew abilities, transcendent abilities for the crew, or you can take outside influence and pull a crew ability from another source.
How do you folks feel about Academy trained or Esprit de Corps?
Let me loop back on looking at Esprit de Corps. That's right. I am more interested in Academy trained off the hand, if only because Esprit de Corps can't help Abbott any at current. However, I was also keen on Academy trained in thinking about Landgrave Hildar, like putting us through our paces, like as like we have this person who's on assignment with our like loser sad team.
Yeah, trying to like get y'all into shape.
Yeah, so that was a fictionally a thing that lit up a lot of my imagination. And I'm
montage. There could be
yes,
montage.
Yes,
training montage.
Yes.
The eye of the tiger.
Oh, actually, I was thinking of the song Montage.
There's also the shitty parody song. But anyways, yeah,
I'm listening. Please.
Academy trained is really nice because it gives you extra dots and things, which is very strong, and there are not a lot of sources of that in this game.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah, I like it. Let's go with Academy trained.
Yes, a montage.
I will take a flow so that my duties are not the worst thing ever.
Yeah, so everyone gets to add a dot in perceive, flow, or analyze.
Nice. Perceive, flow, analyze.
So we haven't been doing a lot of perceiving, but perceiving is about seeing the world kind of as it is and as it presents itself. So it maps closer to like Survey from Blades, for example.
Yeah.
But also has this idea of like it carries a certain amount of like innocence with it. So like you see the things that people are like want the surface that people want to show, and so there's that. Analyze is about seeing under the surface and is a more cynical. This is the way I'm characterizing. There's like the optimistic, hopeful looking at things, and the super cynical, like deconstructing, picking at them, assuming that there are secrets to be picked out of Analyze. And then Flow is about moving with grace or conforming to the expectations of others, which in this case I feel like is about a bit of the like military department stuff, about having the like we can talk about grace in a wide lens here, that like grace is also about poise or like a military uprightness of having like good posture and being formal and structured in your movements and that kind of thing. So that's kind of the flavor behind all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mechanically speaking, it's probably smarter to spread out so as to raise my abilities. But of those, I really feel like Flow makes the most sense for Prophet as well. So I'm gonna raise my Flow to 2. Because I think it makes sense. I did put 6 XP into Brash, and I'm going to take 1 into 5.
Cool. Yeah, because you got some. Your like anger is coming out and it's starting to like manifest more permanently.
I put my XP into Brash or Tsundere, and I got to Defy 2.
Nice.
Not to be outdone.
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry. You think you're good at fighting things? Let me just bump this up.
I actually have 4 XP in the segment now, so next time.
going to Defy 3, and then
someone's got to be the ace pilot. I'm just saying.
I mean,
just like stacking it up.
It's not someone, it's you.
Yes.
Let's be real clear.
I have that giant poster behind me on the wall that says, if humanity is going to be saved, they need the best. In case anyone's wondering, that's me.
So Strash, that was with your XP, you bumped your Defy up of the 3 options from Academy training.
I chose Flow.
Right, you chose Flow. Okay, great. Cool. Andy, what selections would you like to make for?
I'll have to get back to you.
You'll stew on
like,
it?
Yep.
No problem.
Cool. And I've got I got a playbook advance this time as well, because I was close on both of those. And I think I'm going to take, because I feel like it's very fitting, Oracle. You can see the myriad of timelines leading from past to future. Gain increased effect when you gather information. If it relates to your fated person, you also get +1D.
Cool.
That feels very
yeah, it like follows from the fiction that we have presented.
Yeah.
Cool.
When you use your impossible knowledge to persuade someone, you gain increased effect. That's going to be the next one.
There's like an arc that is formed by these selections.
Yeah, definitely.
First I gotta understand the timelines, then I gotta like tell someone about it.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we're over time, as we generally are. So do we want to start?
Yeah.
Wrapping up the show.
Why don't you start with a quick outro?
My name's Andrew Gillis. I am sometimes a game designer and often appearing on roleplay streams across the great wide internet. I am particularly excited to appear on a talk show tomorrow morning at 11 Pacific called The Trans Agenda, about like gender stuff. And that's over on twitch.tv/AshleyNova. You can follow me at Commute and Crow on Twitter and find my game and all manner of various and sundry things through that. Thanks. Andy.
Me. Gosh. Hi, y'all. I'm Andy. It's real good being here again, still, this time and next time. If you want to hang out with me on the internet, there's definitely this thing right here. And over on Twitter, you can find me as Fictional Mammal. Yeah, that thing. Strash, what do you got?
Hey, I'm Strash. I'm a game designer and game consultant and occasionally other game things. Maybe I play games. Haha. And I run games. You can find me on Twitter at StrashA. And yeah, you can find me running and playing things here on Actual Play, but also check out Eric Gillis's channel on Saturday for some 316. And if you folks know Kelsa Delphi, we're playing some. I'm demoing some Bandit Plates, which is still a game in development that I'm co-writing with John Buff Little. So that's it for me. Over to you, the Shans.
Hey yo, you can find me here or anywhere on the internet. This is at Sean Nittner, or some variation of Sean Nittner. I've been getting a bunch of Forged in the Dark game submissions recently as potential things to publish with Evil Hat. And I've been having a lot of them are like way still early on in development. So I'm getting I've been having a great time looking at what people are doing and hopefully being able to offer some useful feedback. And in discussion of that feedback and in discussion with John as well, I'm going to start a Twitter thread probably in the next little bit about some things that publishers are looking for in games and some pitfalls to avoid and some design challenges to challenge yourself with and whatnot. So and then we'll probably put that, like, once we get the internets to give feedback on it, I'll try and consolidate that and put it into a doc, but hopefully that'll be coming out soon, because we've definitely seen some areas that we could warn people away from or encourage people to explore. So that should be fun.
What is your Twitter, Sean, where we can find this?
You can
They
find
asked.
at Sean
Definitely planning to find it.
Yeah, you can find me anywhere as Sean Nittner, including Twitter and all the other places. So yeah, thank you all so much for playing this wonderful and beautiful and tragic and sad and emotional and exciting game with me.
Yeah, real fun. Good.
So, and thanks everyone who hung out with us, even though we had some major
the ups and downs,
some snafus. It was really fun seeing you all and getting encouragement from chat and everything. So
good.
We'll see you all in a little bit.